How many people are feeling like their life is a prayer right about now? Were you feeling that way yesterday? An hour ago? Maybe even 5 minutes ago? That's why we need each other. That's why we need to always be tuning into Spirit and following Spirit. We are Spirit-filled and we are Spirit-led only when we are trusting in that Spirit and only when we are using the faculty of faith. So today, that's what I want to talk about, is how do we trust in the Spirit? Is it like this blind kind of faith in something that we don't understand, or is it actually something that we've practiced, that we understand through experience, that we've tried, and it is true? And it actually supersedes everything else that we've experienced in life. It actually teaches us that all those other ideas and thoughts that we have that have been manifesting all the troubles of the world are really erroneous, and we don't need them anymore. How many people are willing to let all that go? Everybody, all right. Great. I am too. And I'm willing to let my life be a prayer. But it's a prayer that God is praying. It's not a prayer in vain, a prayer of the ego, a prayer for things, a prayer for, could you please change my circumstances? It's not a plea on bended knee. You know, what if it's an acknowledgement that God is right here, right now, within and without? There's a tendency in the modern world to base your beliefs and philosophy of life on the evidence of the senses. And how many times have your senses been wrong? How many times have your perceptions been faulty? Based on judgment, based on fear. You know, the other day, this is a personal story. I've had a lot of things going on, I realized in the last year or so, because the other day I said, I just can't take one more thing. And of course that one more thing happened. And God proved me wrong. You can take one more thing. See, here it is. Bam. Here's one more thing. So the one more thing was, okay, first of all, I'll give you a little background. Lily and I are in the middle of remodeling a house ourselves. Because I thought it's like fun to do that stuff because I've been doing it all my life. And it is fun to do that stuff unless you have like a deadline, I remember how my body remembered how unfun it actually is to be doing that stuff for 40 years. But anyway, that's just a segue. We're remodeling a home. And we're really happy about it, but it's physically demanding. And we have an amazing, vibrant spiritual center here, which I want to give every minute of my life to, and to be with you guys more and more and more on our spiritual path, and to nurture you and be nurtured by each other more and more and more. And bring in amazing guests and work on the music and do lots and lots of things and get that cupola up on the roof. It's still in the parking lot. And that's another, you see, one more thing. I put enough things on myself. But, something was on my heart this week. I got a letter from the Samaritans, and it said that suicide has become the number 2 cause of death among children in our country, between people between the ages of 10 and 34. And after that, it's number 4 cause of death. It's amazing. I mean, think of all the ways suicide has become an epidemic. And I remember that last year, or the year before, 2016, I was at Unity Village going through this incredible process of the admissions process into the ministerial program. And so I was right in the middle of it. I was sitting there waiting to go in for my interview, and I'm very nervous. And I get actually a Facebook message, the last one you check. And it was a friend who said, can we talk? I've been very depressed lately. Can we talk? And I said, I just can't do it right now because I'm going in for my interview in 5 minutes, and I'll get back to you next week. And by the time I got back to him, he had hung himself. And I didn't mean to shock you with that, but it happens all the time. And I felt guilty because I couldn't be there for him. And I wanted to bring that up because there is not a moment of the day that Spirit is not calling upon you to take another step, to be a little more aware of being kind to people, of being a little more aware of what's going on in their life, and being a little more involved, really involved with people's lives. And to know that you have no idea what that person's going through out there, so don't judge them. You have no idea what that person's going through, who they may have lost recently or even years ago. The other thing that brought that up for me is that my mom's 89 years old. And the one more thing that I couldn't take was that she fell on her face this week. She fell down and broke her nose. She looked like she had been in a prize fight. But she's incredible. She's just totally amazing. She's a black eye, broken nose, bleeding in the brain, and not in the brain, but between so she didn't have to get the operation or anything. And so I call her up yesterday. She goes, "They're sending me home today. I'm going home." I said, "I don't think so." "Oh, yes, I'm going." And I said, "No, they're going to send you to rehab or this or that." So by the end of the day, she's going home. Wasn't yesterday, but see how the power of the mind? She's healing so fast. I watched her heal right in front of me. So another thing, I'm just giving them to unload everything on you guys today. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But I'm a human being just like you, and you have no idea how many people I'm connected to. And so another friend of mine actually passed away by being burned in a house fire. She was in a gas explosion. My age, we all were studying the Course in Miracles together. And I thought, that what an amazing way to go. What a dramatic exit. Your house blows up, literally blows up, a gas explosion. And the reason I bring these things up is that I too have a lot of human experience. And being a spiritual teacher and a minister, I know a lot of people, thousands of people. And I have a lot of close friends. And over the years, I've developed a lot of intimate relationships with these people. And Helen's shaking her head because she's a retired minister. She knows what I'm talking about. Everyone is close to you. Everyone is part of your family. You feel like you're very close to each and every person. So when something like that happens, you are very affected by it. You can't shelter yourself from those feelings. They're in there. So what gets me through all of that is trusting in the Spirit. The reason that I brought up any of this stuff is because I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And I'm a really positive and incredibly hopeful person. And I love everybody. And the reason that I can do that is because I trust in the Spirit. Is because every time something like that happens, I can see it from a spiritual perspective. There is no loss and there is no death in the kingdom. It just doesn't exist in the mind of God because you are eternal. And I keep saying this every week, but I don't want to say it just as some philosophy. I say it as something I live by. It's a living philosophy. My life is a prayer that God is praying. Otherwise, just one of those kind of events could send you spiraling into depression or anger or fear or any of those emotions. And I do have those emotions like anyone else. But I love how I've been taught to deal with it through unity. And it's going within and affirming the truth. We talked last week a lot about affirming the truth. Because I'm affirming a substance of all the things that I hope for. I hope deeply that those that pass on are in the light, no matter what the circumstances are. And I know that to be true. So what I hope for also will be the evidence of things not seen, which means they are in the light. There is no pain, no questioning, no doubt. We may feel all those things as human beings, but we can overcome them very simply by living the truth, by trusting in that substance and in that evidence that I can't see. Instead of my senses, my feelings are there, I acknowledge them, and then they're converted back into joy again. They come and go. Feelings, just like everything else in this world, come and go. And let them come and let them go. Because it's all translated finally into joy and into peace. It's purified and translated, right? Because everything's energy. And how do I get in touch with that? Is through the superpower of faith. There's 12 powers, spiritual powers, according to Unity, and one of them is faith. And Charles Fillmore calls it the most important power. Now, taken from the scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. What am I hoping in my heart, really? Get it in your heart. What are you hoping for? That's the substance of what's going to manifest. Are you hoping that joy will come out of this? Are you hoping that peace will be the answer, will be the result? Are you hoping that love will abound in this situation? No matter what it looks like now, love will be the thing that abounds? Because I can't see it now. When I'm in the midst of that fear, when my mom fell down, I saw her with a broken nose. Of course, I was afraid. But the thing within me took over. So we immediately went into healing. And I started healing from across the room. And then I could get a little closer. And finally I said, could I do a little healing with you? And she goes, just don't touch me. Now the doctors and nurses are sticking you with needles and everything. But don't touch me. But that's it. That's the Reiki energy. We're exchanging energy right now. And so we did some Reiki healing and some energy work in the hospital room. And I saw the swelling of her head go down. It was like that big, and it went down, down, down. In a couple hours, it was gone. And she went in for a second CAT scan. They said, your subdermal hematoma, whatever that is, under the skin, subdermal, is that what it's called? Subdural. It's between the bone and the brain. It didn't get into the brain. It's in there, but it's not. So anyway, it had shrunk. And so they said, great, you're doing fine. You're healing already. 89 years old. It's a broken nose, black eye, and a subdural hematoma. And she says, you know what? I don't feel any pain. Yeah, they said, are you feeling any pain? She said, no, I feel fine. And she's always got that attitude. I think I inherited some of that attitude. She's always got that attitude. Because she's believing, even if it's not conscious, it's in there. She's believing in the substance of everything hoped for and the evidence of that which is not seen. So what she's doing is putting into activity the perceiving power of the mind linked with the power to shape substance. This is the definition of faith, or one of them, in The Revealing Word by Charles Fillmore, who says faith is our most important power. Without faith, love, wisdom, all those other ones are kind of meaningless. You have to have faith that it's actually working. That you have to have faith in order to feel it, to put it into action in your life. So it's actually a perceiving power of the mind. But you're not perceiving with the senses, you're perceiving with the mind. You're perceiving with your higher mind. It's a different kind of perception. We used to say, trust your sixth sense, your intuition. So what I'm doing today is linking the idea of faith with intuition. So you can interchange those two words today. That thing that we call intuition, that's your soul. You can trust that. That's your soul speaking to you. And in fact, if you get up a little earlier in the morning, which I've been doing lately, when I feel a lot of stress, I just get up earlier and I go into intuition and trust. I go to meditation and wow, it disappears. Now, if I'm lying in bed for an hour and letting those things go through my mind, what happens? They multiply, they get more powerful, and I take them into my day. I would rather take the truth in the peace into my day. And so that's what I do. I go to my soul and I say, here I am. That's it. Here I am. I'm not telling God what to do for me. I'm saying, here I am. I'm open. Tell me, show me. Give me what I need. Spirit knows what I need before I even ask. So I stop asking and I just be. And I'm receptive. And that's intuition. You can trust that. That's your soul speaking to you. And if you just stay there long enough, you'll start seeing with the soul. Intuition is a type of sight. We used to say, walk by faith, not by sight. It's an old spiritual gospel song. Walk by faith, not by sight. That's what we're doing. We are walking with spiritual sight. We're seeing with the soul. And we can do it. We can activate that. We are accessing the power of faith when we see through the soul. What's the next one? Oh, I love it. So now, here you go. You're going to dare your soul. This is really cool, right? You're communicating, you're listening to the soul. I want you to dare the soul to go farther than it can see. You get an intuition, you're starting to see with the soul, but I want you to go further than that. Go further than what you can see now. Oh, it's kind of uncomfortable. I don't know what's going to happen. That's where all the fun is. You can't learn anything new if you keep staying right where you are. That's where all the fun is. So you have to dare your soul to go further than what you can see now. Knowing that it is there. And when you trust in the Spirit, you know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be a blessing, not just for you, but everyone involved. And when you start to feel that, then you can't wait to go further. You can't wait. You're daring your soul every day to get out there and do more, to shine the light even brighter. Go further than what you can see now. Faith is seeing the light with your heart. You know, I've been talking a lot, John and I have been talking sometimes casual conversations about very deep things, about seeing with your heart. Your heart has more information than your brain. Actually, your heart and your brain are in communication all the time if you let it. But in terms of electrical signals, the heart is sending a lot more information to your brain all the time. So see with your heart. Let your heart tell you what to do. Let your heart. See, your heart is in much more, I'd say, clear communication with your soul than your brain is. Sometimes, this is your only available means of transportation. Some of you know what I'm talking about. A leap of faith is the only way you're going to get there. I just don't know how I'm going to get there. And the New Englanders will say, you can't get there from here. What are you talking about? I can't get there from here. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to take a leap of faith. You're going to have to say, okay, I don't understand it all with my mind and my brain, and it's not making total sense to me, but something inside me says, go ahead and take that leap. And so you do. And you find, wow, I'm flying. It's amazing. And your brain's going to tell you, come on, you don't do that. You're going to get in trouble. No, you can't do that. That's fearful. You can't do it. Don't do it. Don't believe it. Don't believe everything you think. I think a lot of thoughts during the day. What, 70,000, somebody said? 80% of those are negative. Yeah, and they're redundant too. It's the same negative thoughts. Right? Lately it's like, I can't afford this house. I can't paint one more thing. I'm not going to build that. Pretty soon I've built it. It's done. I can't afford it. Pretty soon I afforded it and it's done. And you have negative thoughts all the time. And when you don't believe everything you think, you'll see a lot of evidence that those thoughts did not stop you. You just keep going. And so pretty soon, they come less and less. First of all, they're not going to stop you if you don't want them to. And the second thing is, when you don't listen to them, other thoughts come in and other things occur in your life. It's the only reason I ended up here. It's the only reason I ended up in such a beautiful marriage. It's the only reason I know you guys. It's because I'm trusting the Spirit. I'm being led by the Spirit. And I'm not believing everything I think. I am asking each and every moment, show me what's for my highest good. Show me, and that's what I will do. And even if I can't see it, that's what I will do. Because I'm seeing with my soul. So faith is now the certainty. It's become certain in your mind. It's the certainty that your intuition is far more intelligent than your brain. Your intuition, your heart, your soul, it's smarter than the thoughts that you think. And if you let it, it will give you new thoughts. It will give you those higher thoughts, and pretty soon your brain, your intellect, and your intuition are going to be in perfect harmony. It's not going to be fighting anymore. That's where we want to get to, right? Harmony with our heart and our brain. Reverend Anonymous. He's put, yeah, that guy's all right. I want to put all those slides together in a little book at the end of the year from Reverend Anonymous. So intuition is the highest form of intelligence. It transcends all of our abilities. Intuition, which we can call faith, is truly our superpower. It transcends all our individual abilities and skills because it's actually when we're tapping into our soul, there's no boundary between my soul and yours. Like we think all of us tend to think of soul as an individual expression, but it's really an individual expression that's connected to the all. And so it's constantly changing, evolving, and connected in a way that we cannot truly put into words. We have to feel it because we can't really get that in terms of a horizontal or linear intelligence. That's why intuition is a different kind of intelligence. You all know it. It's the intelligence of the heart. It's the intelligence of the soul. It's the intelligence of spirit. And that's what we're trusting in, is the intelligence of the Spirit to shape our world, to shape substance. Faith is the ability, the perceiving power of the mind, right? Linked with the power to shape substance. But we're perceiving from a new place. We're not perceiving with our senses anymore. We're perceiving with our intuition. It's a new perception. So the perceiving power of the mind is now perceiving that my life is a prayer. God is praying. I'm perceiving all the good in every situation. I can see it now. I can perceive it. I can see that God is in the midst of this. No matter what it looks like, even though it looked like somebody hanging himself, even though it looked like somebody blowing up in a gas fire, even though it looked like a beautiful 89-year-old gentle soul falling on her face and breaking her nose. It looked like that to my eyes, to the senses. But something deeper behind it is going to show me a truth, a deeper truth. It's an amazing thing. I got to tell you, my mom has the greatest sense of humor in the whole world. I said, the angels are all around you. And she goes, okay, angels, take me up there with you. I'm like, it's not your time. It's like, I'll tell you when it's my time. Come on, angels. Come and get me. It's hilarious because I'm all afraid. Oh, Mom, he's going to die. Come on, angels, bring it. Get me out of here. And it breaks down all of the rationale of being afraid. I've got all of this, I'm so afraid. She doesn't care. Come and get me, I'm tired of this place. I love it because there's these fundamental fears that we have. And they're really embedded deep in our consciousness. And we've programmed all of ourselves to react out of fear. And it's an amazing thing because when something like that happens and somebody breaks your fear of what's going on, you say, wow, I can't be afraid of that anymore. I can't be afraid of death anymore. I can't be afraid of anything that occurs here because something behind it is what's real. There's something I cannot perceive except through the eyes of spirit. And that's why we seek out spiritual paths. That's why we seek out spiritual truths and spiritual teachers and spiritual centers. Why we gather here. Because we're always naturally, as human beings, as spiritual beings having a human experience, seeking out that which is true, seeking out the Spirit, seeking out that one thing that we can really have faith in. Because to a human being, faith doesn't make sense. But you know what it does? It makes miracles. And that's the thought I want to leave you with today. That faith may not make sense, but it makes miracles. So you can trust in the Spirit, my friends. You can trust in that always. Seek that place within you that knows. That place is right there. Your spirit always knows. It's seeing with the soul and not with your conscious mind, not with the mind that wants to figure everything out. It sees from that intelligence that knows the Spirit. That intelligence is far greater than any individual skill or ability that we may have. That's the greatest power we have, is the power of faith. So I love you guys, and I have faith that you love me too. Amen.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at www.unityoncapecod.org.